Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a challenge that's really keeping a lot of nonprofit leaders up at night,
Which is?
building and maintaining donor trust. It's kind of a paradox, isn't it?
How so?
Well, our sources show this striking trust gap. You have like 64% of donors saying trust is valuable.
Okay, that sounds good.
Right, but then you dig deeper, and 80% of major donors say trust is deciding factor for them. Huge. Yet, only about 20% of people actually trust nonprofits.
Wow, only 20%.
Yeah.
That's a big gap.
It is, and it's not just feelings. We've seen donations fall something like 10.5% between 2021 and 2022. That's worrying.
Definitely worry.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to explore how really solid financial tracking and, real transparency can help bridge that gap.
And boost efficiency, right?
Yeah.
And make sure the impact lasts.
Exactly.
That's absolutely right. So think of this deep dive as like a practical guide. We're pulling this straight from the sources you've looked at. We'll focus on the key financial metrics. Yeah, the ones that really count. And the tools that make tracking them easier.
And the reporting.
And the best ways to report. Because the goal isn't just like ticking compliance boxes. It's about building real donor confidence.
Turning numbers into impact stories.
Exactly. Turning those numbers into a clear story about the difference they're making.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Mm.
Why is financial transparency suddenly so critical? Especially for child sponsorship programs. For a long time, it felt like back office stuff.
Right, just accounting.
Yeah. But like our sources point out, it really comes down to trust. Or maybe the lack of trust across the sector.
That's a deficit we mentioned.
Yeah, that deficit. And donors are getting wary about high fundraising costs, too. What was it? 32.8% see that as a major red flag.
That's nearly a third.
So this isn't just about feeling good, is it? What's really at stake if organizations, don't prioritize clear financial reporting?
That's a great point about what's at stake, because beyond that crucial trust piece, it's fundamentally about compliance.
Ah, the legal stuff.
Yep. Organizations have to file 4 financial statements every year with the IRS.
Okay.
And the big one, IRS Form 990, plus various state rules. They demand really detailed financial tracking.
And that 990? People can see that, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a public document. Anyone can look it up.
Mm.
It gives a pretty detailed snapshot of finances, governance. Donors definitely look at it.
So it's not optional.
Not at all. It's non-negotiable if you want to keep your tax-exempt status and just, operate properly.
That makes perfect sense on the compliance side. But, some might argue, couldn't getting too bogged down in metrics and reporting actually take resources away from the kids?
That's a very fair challenge. I hear that sometimes.
How do you find that balance? And what are the real, tangible financial things organizations can do to build that trust?
Well, the key, I think, is focusing on the right metrics. The ones that actually tell a compelling story to donors. If trust is the foundation, then these specific financial metrics are like the cornerstones. They build that confidence and make sure the impact is there.
Okay, so what are they? Where should we start?
Let's start with one that always gets attention. Administrative costs as a percentage of revenue.
Right, the overhead question, basically.
Kind of. It tells donors how much money goes into just running the organization versus directly supporting the children.
And what's a good number there? Is there a benchmark?
Well, charity evaluators often suggest keeping it under 35%.
Okay, and how do you calculate that?
Simple enough. Take your administrative expenses, divide them by your total expenses, and then multiply by 100 to get the percentage.
So it's a quick check for a donor. Is my money mostly going to the kids or the office?
Precisely. It hits that immediate donor concern head on, which naturally leads to the next one. Fundraising costs as a percentage of donations.
Ah, efficiency. How much does it cost to raise the money in the first place?
Exactly. It's an efficiency ratio. The sources say Charity Navigator gives top marks if you spend less than, say, 20 cents to raise every dollar.
Less than $1.20. Got it. And the calculation?
Just divide your total fundraising expenses by your total donations.
Oh.
Shows how lean you are in bringing those dollars in.
Now, there's one metric that always seems to spark debate. Program cost versus overhead. People hear overhead and think,
Waste. Bureaucracy.
yeah, like it's a bad word, just money not going to the mission. But our sources push back on that, don't they? How do we reframe that, make it interesting?
What's fascinating here isn't just saying overhead can be good. It's about understanding that strategic overhead. That's the stuff that actually scales the impact.
Strategic overhead, like what?
Think about it. Investing in good infrastructure, like staff training, or better technology, strong compliance systems, that's not a drain. It's actually a force multiplier.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. Say, new software that helps enroll kids faster. That directly improves outcomes because support gets to them quicker.
Ah, okay, I see.
So if you're transparent about how that overhead spending leads to better results, you show its value. That builds trust because you're showing efficiency, not just cost.
That totally shifts the perspective, doesn't it? It's not a cost, it's an enabler. Okay, what about where the money comes from?
That brings us neatly to revenue diversity. Relying too much on just one type of funding is risky.
Look, putting all your eggs in one basket.
Pretty much. For instance, in 2023, individual donations were huge in the U.S., like 67.2% of all giving.
Wow.
Yeah, and while individual donors are absolutely vital, organizations need to actively track and cultivate different sources. Think corporate partnerships, government grants, foundations.
To spread the risk.
Exactly. Ensure stability.
Yeah.
The research suggests diversifying if any single source makes up more than, say, 40% of your total funding.
Makes sense.
And related to this, you should also think about donor lifetime value.
Lifetime value, explain that.
Okay, so instead of just seeing a single donation, you look at the long term. For example, a sponsor gives $35 a month for 5 years. That's $2,100 total.
Right.
Understanding that helps organizations see the true value of building those long-term relationships. It's more than just one transaction.
So, okay, these metrics are crucial. But what does this mean for, like, the day-to-day grind? How do programs actually track all this efficiently? It sounds like a lot.
It definitely can be a lot of moving pieces. One key practice is integrating financial tracking with program monitoring.
So connecting the money directly to the activity.
Yes. The financial data means much more when it's tied to what's actually happening on the ground. Like you record costs specifically when a new child joins, or track expenses for a particular tutoring program.
And consistency.
Crucial. Standardizing your financial categories across all your programs.
Rich,
That way,
yes.
everyone's speaking the same financial language, and it's easier to see how every dollar fits into the bigger picture.
Okay, so you're tracking it alongside the programs, but then you have all this data. How do you pull it together and make sense of it?
It leads to the next step, collecting and consolidating financial data. You really need a central system.
One place for everything.
Ideally, yes. Something that pulls data from all your channels, online donations, grant payments, everything. Automating this. Huge time saver. Reduces errors, too.
Any examples of that?
Yeah, the sources mentioned Vitamin Angels. They moved from doing things manually to automated systems. Saved them hundreds of hours, apparently just streamlining how they pulled everything together.
Wow. Hundreds of hours.
It's like you wouldn't try to bake a cake without knowing how much flour you actually have, right? Automation tells you exactly what's in the cupboard.
And that's where specialized tools come into play, I guess.
Exactly. Using specialized tools is pretty much essential now. Help You Sponsor got mentioned as an example built just for child sponsorship programs.
What does something like that do?
Well, it automates the sponsorship management, linking monthly payments to specific kids, for instance. It gives you real-time visibility into your cash flow.
So you always know where you stand.
Right. It often has dashboards showing your budget status, donation trends, maybe even flags when you hit certain critical levels.
You know, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of automation, it fits with broader tech trends.
How so?
Like, Gartner predicts that by 2025, maybe 15% of day-to-day decisions will be made autonomously.
Interesting.
It really underscores how important reliable, automated reporting is becoming for nonprofits. These tools aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. They're getting essential for, smart, timely decisions.
And what's fascinating there, it loops back to trust, doesn't it? Automation helps ensure the data you report is accurate and ready when needed. That builds confidence.
Absolutely. Okay, so tracking is one thing. But beyond just having the numbers, the real magic seems to happen in how organizations communicate them.
The art of transparency.
Yeah, making complex financial stuff accessible, trustworthy for donors. This has to start with following U.S. accounting standards and GAAP, right? Generally accepted accounting principles.
Definitely the foundation. For U.S. nonprofits, that means filing those 4 annual financial statements with the IRS we talked about.
And using GAAP rules.
Yes, including things like the accrual method.
Remind me what that is.
Accrual accounting recognizes revenue when it's earned, not just when the cash lands in the bank. It gives a truer picture of your financial health over time.
Okay, got it.
And also carefully separating restricted funds, money given for a specific purpose, from unrestricted funds. That distinction is vital for donors.
Because they need to know the money they gave for, say, school supplies actually bought school supplies.
Precisely. And as we said, filing that IRS Form 990 is crucial for keeping the tax-exempt status and providing that public window.
But compliance, as you said, is just the baseline. The real goal is to present clear and donor-friendly financial statements.
It really is. That means breaking things down. Simple categories for revenue for expenses, using plain language, not jargon.
Maybe like a where your money goes section on the website?
Perfect example. Itemizing expenses there, connecting the spending directly to specific outcomes. It's about clarity, not just dumping data.
You know, there's a quote from Evelyn Hoffman that really nails this.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
She says, transparency isn't just about sharing financial data. It involves openness in decision-making, clarity in operations, and accessibility of information.
I like that. It's broader.
Yeah, she goes on. It means explaining not just where funds go, but why certain decisions are made, how resources are allocated, and what impact the organization is achieving.
That really captures it. It's the whole story, the context behind the numbers. That's what builds deep trust.
It really does drive it home. And that's where things like data visualizations become so powerful, right?
Absolutely. Pictures tell a story much faster sometimes.
Like pie charts showing where the funds go percentage-wise.
Or bar graphs comparing fundraising month by month.
Line charts maybe tracking donor retention over time.
Yeah, and interactive dashboards for showing key performance indicators in real time. These visuals just cut through the complexity. They make raw data understandable for donors, for the board.
And you should build this into fundraising too, right?
Definitely. Weave transparency right into your campaigns, share specific goals, show progress updates along the way, keep donors in the loop. It makes them feel like partners.
So, wow. We've really taken a deep dive into the financial heartbeat of these child sponsorship programs.
That's pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it's clear that focusing on these metrics, embracing this kind of real transparency, it's not just about checking boxes for the IRS.
Not at all. It's the cornerstone.
The cornerstone for building that lasting donor trust and ultimately making the biggest possible impact. Just remember that stat. 80% of major donors say trust is the deciding factor. Just let that sink in.
Which raises, I think, an important question for you, the listener. Whether you're supporting one of these programs or you work for one.
Yeah.
How can you actively engage with these financial insights?
Yeah.
What does it really mean for you when every dollar tracked, every report shared transforms financial management?
From just a chore.
Right? From just a regulatory chore into a powerful tool. A tool for driving real, meaningful change and building stronger, more impactful relationships with donors. It's realizing that transparency isn't just a duty. It's actually a strategy for deeper connection and ultimately for greater good.